Hi folks, I'm very aware that I've been putting out a lot of information there about applying for the COVID-19 pandemic support payment. But what I'm also very aware of is that I've been telling people to use the online system to apply for this payment, and there might be quite a lot of people out there who don't actually know how to use the system. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a step-by-step about essentially how to apply for the payment online. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open your browser. So whether that's Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Opera or Google Chrome, it doesn't really matter, I use Google Chrome. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop up here into the address bar. You're going to type in services.mywelfare.ie. That'll take you directly to the page that you need to be on. So this page is going to have a lot of different options here, but the one that we want to focus on is here, the COVID-19 services. So we're just going to click into that. And then again, you've got a couple of more options on this page. So you've got your pandemic unemployment payment, which is the one I'm going to be showing you how to apply for today. Then you've got to close your COVID-19 payments. So situations may occur where your employer has taken you back on, or your employer has actually agreed to continue to pay your wage until the duration, in which case you shouldn't be applying for the pandemic support payment. So if you have mistakenly done so, you can click into there. It's literally a one-page thing, and you can cancel that payment. You've got your payments for your self-isolation or COVID-19 diagnosis. You'd think I'd be used to saying that by now. So essentially this is if you have a medical diagnosis of COVID-19 or if you have been medically certified to self-isolate. So that may be due to being immunocompromised or in one of the high-risk categories like an organ transplant or severe asthmatic or over the age of 70, those kind of necessities. The whole list is on my page, so you can check that out there. Here you have your option to change your payment method. So some people are receiving their social welfare payments into their post office. They do have the option to go on here if they have a verified MyGov account and change that to a bank account. And then you have your standard job seekers payment. So we're going to pop back up here and go to the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment. So when we go to this page, you'll see that it explains what the unemployment payment is and who is eligible for it. So, as you can see here, you're eligible to apply for the pandemic unemployment payment if you were in employment or self-employment. So that's important to point out. Self-employed people are also included in this immediately before the 13th of March. And you've been temporarily laid off from work or asked to stay at home from work, and your employer is not in a position to retain you on their payroll, and you're not in receipt of any payment income. So you're not eligible to apply for the pandemic unemployment payment if you were not in employment immediately before Friday the 13th of March, you were not laid off from work by your employer, you are continuing to receive income from your employer, or you voluntarily chose to leave your employment. And again, it just reiterates here, you don't claim COVID-19 unemployment payment if your employer has not laid you off, or if you're not previously in employment, or if you are still in receipt of an employment income, or if your employer takes you back on their payroll. So if you have applied for it and they've taken you back on your payroll, you can cancel your application using that form that I pointed out earlier. So we're just going to click continue to go on to the next page. So again, it's a what is COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment page. So it's just important to point out that it is an emergency payment that was introduced for anybody whose employer is unable to pay them. The payment is available to all employees and self-employed people who've lost employment due to the pandemic, and you'll get 350 quid a week, and it will be in place for 12 weeks. So what you're going to need to complete this application are your personal details and your payment details. Again, you're going to have two options here. You do have the option of receiving it into a bank, but given that many of us are trying to self-isolate or social distance or just essentially keep ourselves inside the house unless we need to go out for essential services or whatnot, instead of opting for the post office collection option, it may be better to have it sent to your bank account. So do be prepared to enter in your IBAN number, which is that really long number that you'll either find in your app on your phone or in either, I think it's the top right or the top left hand corner of your bill. You can also go onto your bank's website, type in your account number and your sort code, and they'll feed you back out your IBAN. So what's going to happen after the 12 weeks? So remember, this payment is introduced as an emergency income support. So if you're employed, if you're unemployed, you'll still need to apply to be assessed for job seekers payment, and that they do recommend that you do that as soon as possible. So I've clicked the apply now button, and what that's done is that's transferred me from my welfare over onto MyGovID, so I can log in with MyGovID. Now, I have a verified account, which means that I have my public service card, and I've gone through the rigmarole of getting that, verifying my account, all of this kind of stuff. But it's important to point out, you do not need a verified account to apply for COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment. Okay, you don't need it, so you can do this with a basic account. So I'm just going to log into mine now. That's my personal email, so I'm going to block that out because all of you have my actual political one, and nobody can see my password anyway, so I don't need to block anything out there. Now, what happens then is that you are then sent a code to your phone. When you're setting up your account, you will be asked for your phone number. Oops. Entered it wrong. You will be asked for it. Now, you don't need to click enter or anything like that. You type in your 6-digit code and it brings you automatically to here. So you got your emergency payment. So the emergency payment application only takes about 10 minutes. You're going to have to select the scheme you're going for. So that's the COVID-19 Pandemic Unemployment Support Payment. Your personal details, so name, address, bank account details, employment details, and obviously your payment method. Sorry, that's your bank details there. So here's the thing, if you're not sure of any of your details, you can begin the application and then you can continue it once you have the bits that you don't have. I think it says it here, it saves for about 14 days. So we're just going to begin the application there. So like I said, it's asked you what scheme you're applying for. So it's the COVID-19 Pandemic Unemployment Payment. So just click into that. So I'm just going to pop in my actual employer's details. So that's Kildare County Council. Now the thing is, guys, I don't have an N in there. Now, I'm not actually going to apply for this because the thing is, Kildare County Councillors and other public reps have been deemed essential services. So my employer's phone number, that's 0459800200. Employer's address. So, as you can see here, it has country. It's important to point out the reason why it has country is because some people who are away will actually be able to apply for this in certain circumstances. So the address line's 2, and then that would be Naas, County Kildare as well. Okay. So which of the following best describes your current employment situation? So has your full-time employment ended? Your full-time employment ended and you've been temporarily laid off. So temporarily laid off meaning you will be returning to work at some point with the same company. Has your part-time employment ended? Are you still working hours but your hours have been reduced? Or has your self-employment ended? So I'm just going to click into each of these to show you that it doesn't do anything else except for with the other, where you have to provide as much detail as possible as to why your employment ended. So I'm going to go for the full-time employment ended. So when was the last day of work? I am going to pop in Friday the 13th of March. Am I still working casually or part-time? So I'm going to select no. Am I still in receipt of another social welfare payment? So I'm going to select no. So next part of the application. So our personal details are here. So they're going to ask me for my full name. Now anybody who knows me knows my name is Christopher James Pender. That's what's on my social welfare card. My mobile number, which all of you can get if you Google, so there's no point in me hiding that one. It's 08582982237. My date of birth, so and it is 1987. Yes, folks, I am only 33, despite how I look. Life's been hard. Now I provide my PPS number, and I'm going to pop that in there. I can see it, but by the time I publish this video, you guys won't be able to see it because, well, got to keep those PPS numbers secret. And then my mother's maiden name, again, I'm going to keep that secret. So now it's asking you to please provide your address, but what they ask you to do is to provide your air code. Now this makes it easier for them to find your address, or for whatever reason. So if you do not know your air code, you can click find my air code, which will bring you to this page. You type in your address, you search, and it'll give you your air code down here. You'll copy and paste that and pop it back in here, but I'm one of those weirdos who actually knows my air code. So once you've typed your air code in, again, I'm going to hide that because it gives the exact address, and I click find address. It will bring my address up down here, which again, I'm going to hide. And then I click save and continue. So it's brought me over to the payment method. So I don't have a bank account as one option, and like it says here, if you qualify for your payment, an officer will contact you to confirm your payment details once you have submitted an application. So that may be which bank that you're going to be collecting from or whatever. So you add your new bank account. So please note that payments to foreign bank accounts will only be made on a 4-weekly basis. Now in my case, I have an Irish bank account, so I'll select yes. If you select no, it will bring you up this and it will ask you what country it's from. Now, as you can see here, only bank accounts from SEPA Eurozone countries can be added. Okay, so we're just going to click yes. The account name is Chris Pender, and then my IBAN, which again, I'm going to hide, not that you can do much with it except for lodge money into my account. Then I'm going to click save and continue. Now, once we get to this page, it's a summary. So what it asks you to do is go over your details again and just to make sure they're correct. So we have all of this here with my employer's details and some of my personal details in there too. Then we go to the personal details section, and it is my personal details there, and obviously my address and stuff like that, which I'm going to blur out, and then we can minimize that. And then my payment method, which includes that it's an Irish bank account, it includes my name, and then there's my IBAN. Again, I'm going to block that out now. You just want to be sure that you've actually entered in the right IBAN. Like I said, you'll get your IBAN from your online banking app. You'll get it off your statement. You can possibly ring your bank to get it, or you can actually go onto their website, input your account number and sort code, and they will feed you back out what your IBAN is. So, before I can submit this application, I have to declare that if I'm applying for COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment, I'm not being paid by my employer at the moment, that the information given by me in this application is truthful and complete, that I understand that if any of the information I provide is untrue or misleading in any way, or if I fail to disclose any relevant information that I may be required to repay any payment I've received from the department, and that I may be prosecuted, and that I undertake to immediately advise the department of any change of my circumstance which may affect my continued entitlement. This is a standard declaration, folks, but it is very important to point out that if you are untruthful in this declaration, that they will actually come back to you to repay what you have been paid. Then I'm just going to click I have read the terms and conditions. Once I do that, you'll see that this button lights up, and then you click that button. Now I'm not going to click that button because I don't want to pop in a false application. Okay, now listen folks, I hope that's helped in some way, shape or form. If you want me to do tutorials on anything else, any of the other services online or filling in forms and stuff like that, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions or anything like that, drop them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. If I don't have the answer, I will do my best to find the answer for you. So thank you very much, and stay safe.